About Focal Online TV.
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I really get this program you are talking about?
This program is here every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Okay, good morning, fellow Liberians. It's always a pleasure to be here. My name is Kate Lyndon Tuba. So for those of you who are watching this morning, this is the program Inside the Print Media on Focal FM, Focal TV, and we are so much excited to be here. So this morning we will be reading full of various newspapers. Those are the trending stories you often find on the various newspapers. This morning is what we would definitely be bringing to you. We would definitely be bringing stories from the Daily Observer newspaper, stories from the Front Page African newspaper, the New Dawn newspaper, and the Hot Pepper newspaper. So just exercise of patience, and let's take a short break. When we come back, we begin reading the headlines as well as the content of those newspapers. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, folks. So we have the Daily Observer newspaper here this morning. Public official dodging access declaration. That is what the Daily Observer newspaper is reporting this morning. Public official dodging access declaration. So they are actually asking questions as to what a public officials is actually dodging access declarations. We all know that access declaration is one of the most important functions or protocol that a particular government official must observe before working in government. So only 26.5% of 1,900 officials declare their access, LCC discloses. Out of 1,900 public officials, including members of the legislature and the judiciary, only 26.5% have declared their access, according to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. According to Councillor Alexandra Zoe, Executive Chairperson of the LCC, the remaining 73.5% of these public officials have yet to declare their assets publicly. The asset declarations exercise is a vital tool in our fight against corruption, says Councillor Zoe. It enhances public trust in our institution by holding public officials accountable and ensuring that they lead by example. Transparency in assets declaration also acts as a deterrent to corrupt practices and promote a culture of integrity. The National Code of Conduct, which was enacted in 2014 by the government of Liberia, provides for the declaration and registrations of person of interest, performance, and financial bonds by all public officials and employees of government. The LCC is responsible for ensuring that this mandate is enforced. They receive the assets declared by the public officials and verify them. The exercise is to promote transparency and accountability in fulfillment of Article 90C of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, which requires the government to create rules and conflict of interest. July 31st, 2024 was set as the deadline for public officials to declare their assets. The disclosure by the Commission chairperson comes after Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana reminded public officials that assets declaration was overdue. A quick reminder to public officials, if you haven't declared your assets, today is the deadline, she said. Rule of law is the third item of President Joseph Numa Boaka's arrest agenda, an acronym representing agriculture, road, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism, with a popular phrase, no business as usual. Boaka promised to promote accountability, openness, and transparency. In February 2024, President Boaka declared his assets. Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Jay Fonati Kofa, also followed to declare their assets. According to Councillor Zoe, the exercise is crucial in preventing and detecting illicit enrichment, conflict of interest, and corruptions. Legislative, judicial, and executive officials refuse to declare assets. The House of Representatives has 73 elected lawmakers, only 26 declared to the LCC. The remaining 47 were non-compliant. Of the 56 administrative staff of the House of Representatives that were identified, only one staff complied, demonstrating a commitment to the rule of law, said Councillor Zold. For the Senate, out of 30 members, 18 were non-compliant, said Councillor Zold. Of the 44 administrative staff of the House of Senate that were identified non-compliant. Of the 1,281 executive officials, 322 complied, while 959 are non-compliant. We also received 84 assets declaration from non-appointed or employees of the government, those bringing the total number of assets declaration received from the executive branch of government to 406, demonstrating their commitment to transparency. In the judiciary branch, a total number of 333 persons are required to declare. Only 28 officials comply, including 7 judges and 21 administrative staff were in compliance, demonstrating their commitment to transparency, while 305 were non-compliant. Commission next action. According to Councillor Zold, the Commission will publish the full list of those who have declared their assets. We will also recommend to the relevant authorities to enforce sanctions against these non-compliant people, including without holding of salary and suspensions until compliance. So with this being said, this is how we move over to another headlines on the Daily Observer newspaper. As over 700,000 channel through staff to pay vendors. A recently released audit by the General Auditing Commission has unveiled serious financial irregularity within the Central Bank of Liberia, casting a spotlight on troubling practices that undermine financial integrity and accountability at one of Liberia's key institutions. The audit report reveals substantial irregularities in the disbursement of over 700,000 to CBL staff members for legal consultancy services. It indicated that the funds designated for legal expenses and other services were disbursed to staff members under the guise of external consultants and contractors. However, there was a lack of documentation providing these funds were properly transferred or used for the intended purposes. According to the audit, CBL disbursed a staggering $742,120, classified as legal expenditure. Additionally, $90,000 was allocated for various other services purportedly provided by external consultants and contractors. However, the disbursement were made in the name of CBL member staff and intended for further distribution to extended entities. This practice is alarming, especially considering the CBL already maintains a fully staffed legal department and engages three external legal firms: International Law Firm, International Law Firm, International Group of Legal Advocates, by Bromsky Associates Law Firm, on a retainer basis. The audit report highlights a series of substantial payments made to individuals, including H.E. Barclay and J.E. Innings, raising serious questions about the legitimacy and transparency of these transactions. Noteworthy payment to Barclay include 50,000 US on May 30, 2023, and 55,000 US on July 25th, 2022. Similarly, Innings received payment amounting to 437,000 US with significant entries such as 40,000 on July 31st, 2023, and 30,000 on February 10, 2021. The audit report details that these payments were processed under the assumption that their staff member could transfer the fund to the intended consultants and contractors. However, there is a glaring lack of documentation showing the actual transfer of these funds and evidence of the specific services rendered. This significant gap raises serious concern about the proper utilization and management of financial resources within the Central Bank of Liberia. The practice of routing payments through staff members rather than directly to service provider hints as possible attempt to obscure the true nature of these transactions. The lack of transparency suggests that the funds might have been diverted or used for purposes other than the officials intended. The audit underscored the need for stringent oversight and internal control, highlighting a potential lapse in the bank financial management practices. Historically, such practices have been observed in various institutions where large sums of money were channeled through staff name, often resulting in financial and corruptions. The pattern of payment described in the audit mirrors problematic financial practices previously seen at other governmental and financial institutions, including the Ministry of State, Executive Protection Services, and Financial Intelligence Agency. This history of mismanagement highlights the critical need for comprehensive financial oversight and accountability measures. The Central Bank of Liberia has responded by stating that these payments were intended for staff to disburse to external consulting and contractors. However, the lack of evidence that Okay, folks, we want to sincerely apologize for the break in due to grave internet control. However, our producer is on the back here trying to have it set up. So we want to apologize for this level of inconvenience again. So this is internet situation is one situations we do not have control over, especially in our country like Liberia. So let's go again. In light of this funding, the audit recommends that each member staff listed in the report be required to provide clear and verifiable evidence showing that the funds received were indeed delivered to the intended service providers, that the services were rendered as claimed. Failure to produce such evidence should result in those staff being held accountable and required to repay the funds. This measure is crucial for ensuring financial accountability and restoring public trust in the CBL financial management practices. The implications of the audit are far-reaching, underscoring the urgent need for reform in the financial management practices at the Central Bank of Liberia. Ensuring robust oversight, transparency, accountability is essential for maintaining the integrity of financial institutions and safeguarding public resources. As the CBL embarks on addressing this issue, stakeholders, including policymakers, the public, and financial oversight bodies, will be closely monitoring the implementation of corrective measures, restoring confidences in the bank operations and financial practices will require significant efforts to overhaul the current practices, enhance transparency, and strengthen financial control. The funding from the GSE audit served as a critical reminder of the importance of rigorous financial oversight and the need for accountability in management. The focus will be ensuring that such financial irregularities are addressed promptly and effectively, reinforcing the commitment to transparency and good governance in the country's financial institution. With this being said, this is how we move over to the Front Page Africa newspaper. So the Front Page Africa newspaper is reporting Front Page Africa weighs in on Unity Party-led government war on graft amid opposition criticism. One of the leading opposition party that was in power a few years ago has classified Bouakar's current procedure on the asset corruptions as a witch hunt. So Front Page Africa, one of the leading newspapers in the country, is providing what is happening in the country and what kind of stand the government needs to take. So let's give you what Front Page Africa analysis is relative to the president's stance against corruptions in the country. President Bouakar was able to garner enough support to win the 2023 presidential election because of an intense focus on fighting corruption, a problem that has constantly plagued successive Liberian government. In his inaugural speech, he memorably declared that in the face of dwindling revenue, a good place to start the repositioning of Liberia's economy is to swiftly tackle two ills that have ballooned on the outgoing administrations: waste and corruption. Waste and corruption. There would be business as usual. He promised to take concrete steps to aid in restoring transparency and accountability to the public offices in the country. However, after a review of President Bouakar's first 100 days in office, critics declared that not enough had been done to fulfill his promises on fighting corruption. In a similar response, the president has taken steps in his fight against corruption by arresting key people of the former regime allegedly involved in diversions of funds. Last week, several top officials of the ex-president George Weah's administration were indicted by the Monrovia City Court. The indicted officials include former Finance Minister Samuel Tuwe, National Security Advisor Jefferson Kamun, former Solicitor General Councillor Nyanti, National Intelligence Unit D. Moses P. Cooper, and former Director General of the Financial Intelligence Agency Stanley Ford politicized anti-corruption efforts. However, the president has been criticized and accused of leading a selective war against corruption. Several people claim that his war against corruption has focused on members of the opposition party, the CDC, skipping previous GSE audit report and cherry picking to target only officials of my administration undermines the fight against corruption, and the Liberian people must see as a move as a weaponization of the LCC to wish on officials of my administration. George Manneh Weah, former president of Liberia, the political leader of the Congress of Democratic Change, former president George Manneh Weah announced Wednesday that the party will use all legal and political means at its disposal to resist the UP-led government to move to weaponize the country's judicial system to its selfish advantage. Yes, Mr. Bwaka, your actions to politicize justice will be resisted and resisted strongly. The CDC political leader vowed resistance. In a press conference at the CDC headquarters in Congo Town, the former president said that the Bwaka's administration ordered heavily armed security personnel to carry out a series of unlawful detention of some former officials of government in what is clearly a political move intended to target the Coalition for Democratic Change and the wider opposition community. Mr. Weah said the detained include 4 former members of the National Security Agency, former Finance Minister Samuel Twe, former Presidential Security Advisor Jefferson Kemun, former Solicitor General of Liberia Councillor Nyanti Tuan, and former Controller of the Financial Intelligence Unit, now Financial Intelligence Agency, D. Moses P. Cooper. Liberians divided over Bwaka's corruption fight. But the current anti-corruption fight has not been nationally praised, with some Liberians supporting the general idea but criticizing President Bwaka's execution. Speaking to Front Page Africa, some political watchers expressed their views on the anti-corruption war by President Bwaka. Abby Colley, a staff of the Cottington University, said, "This war on corruption by President Bwaka is a godsend effort, a godsend man pursuing a godsend agenda to redeem the country of God from the shadows of the devil. This country has been slashed by those who should have been in position to rectify the ills in the country, but at this God present time has been a president who is vigorously pursuing a very serious program to see if the country can be restored to its past glory. Check out the mind-boggling revelation that we are seeing on how impunity has done. I am totally in support of this war on corruption, praying that one day the nation will come back to its past glory. Unfortunately, for the last 6 years, the former ruling coalitions of Democratic Change was at the helm of power, disbursing resources, he said. We owe no apologies to anyone who consider our effort as wishing because only witches are haunted, President Bwaka said. Mo Keita, a student, said, I wholeheartedly support the war on corruption by President Bwaka. As you can see in the country, some people are suffering because some are smiling and pocketing our money meant for nation building and security. People are suffering while some people are squandering the country's fund. Continuing, he added, the president's decision is not wish hunting in any way because I know President Bwaka will not spare anyone from culpable. There will be no scared coward, the ruling Unity Party or opposition political party. Also, bear in mind, Derek Peabody, a contractor and a businessman, opinion. It is all about following the rule of law, and anyone found culpable must be brought to book. So I don't think the president is biased. People should be preempting and counting numbers. If we will be patient enough with the system, more people will be indicted both from the Unity Party and the opposition. C. Tao Kamfula, a member of the Congress of Democratic Change, is of the opinion that the war on corruption by President Bwaka is a witch hunt. The president war on corruption to me is a witch hunt because only ex-officials of Wiacom as being targeted while corruption is being done in the Unity Party government. A businessman in Banga market who didn't want his name printed blasted some people with the opinion that the anti-graft war is a vision or one-sided by partisans, politicians. How can someone say that the war on corruption is one-sided? They are all playing partisans politics. I want to encourage the president to continue this fight because his legacy is at stake. President Bouaka came to power vying to stand on graft, fight insecurity, and revive the Liberian economy. More than by anything else, the Bouaka's legacy could be shaped by his ability or inability to fight graft or to stand still. So with this being said, this is we would take a very short break. When we come back, we begin filling you in with stories relating to the Hot Pepper newspaper and that of their New Dawn newspaper. Stay with us, folks.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Greg Courage Pa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Okay, folks. Welcome back again. Welcome back to the program Inside the Print Media. This is your informative news program where we highlight stories from the newspapers that are sold within our country, Liberia. It's actually important to be abreast with all of the situations taking place in our country, Liberia. An informed person is somebody who makes a very wise decision. So it is always advisable that you become informed. Read the various newspaper. Just take your $50, $40 and purchase one of these papers and just get informed, get abreast with any other situations, whether sport, whether politics, any situation of your choice. It is always important to be informed about what is taking place in your country, Liberia. You know, Liberia is the only country we have. So every other thing we do, we must always strive to promote our country, Liberia. So let's begin to acknowledge some of our followers who are following this morning. Prince Kelvin Jackson Jr., conversation, following the nationwide conversation from my workplace in Jamaica. We want to say congratulations, Prince. Keep following us every time. So let's go over to the Hot Pepper newspaper. The Hot Pepper newspaper is reporting National Concessions Commission praises outgoing ArcelorMittal CEO. National Bureau of Concession praises outgoing ArcelorMittal CEO. Say Liberian expect more. ArcelorMittal Liberia recently hosted a farewell ceremony to honor its former CEO Josephus Job Conan in Buchanan. The event was a testament to Conan's contribution to both the companies and the local communities. One of the highlights of the ceremony was a speech delivered by Councillor Edwin N. Dennis, Director General for the National Bureau for Concession. Anthony Dennis lauded the Conans for his exemplary leadership and collaborative spirit, which had a profound impact on ArcelorMittal operations and its community engagement. Working with Josephus as Director General of the NBBC and ensuring compliance is achieved. Those of you who work with ArcelorMittal will understand that under his leadership, we were able to restructure the scholarship program. Dennis said, under his leadership, the benefit got increased in terms of the numbers of Liberians who got scholarship from the company. Under his leadership, we understood the difference between scholarship for all Liberians and a training program for workers of metal. Dennis emphasized that the value of Conan's partnership with the government. If you have such a good person who understands what it means to partner with the government to see him leave, I'm sure the board of Metai has something better for Liberia. So I am hoping that I have the opportunity to meet with you, the new CEO. He thanked Joe for the opportunity provided the National Bureau of Concession in implementing its role for Josephus Road and understand to take some corrective measure. The National Bureau of Concession director told the audience that the ArcelorMittal positive trajectory could continue under the leadership, stating that I'm hoping that this will continue under Meta because our people and our country expect a lot from ArcelorMittal, and we hope by working through the agreement, our people will achieve a lot. Dennis also praised Conan's dedication to community development, highlighting a commitment to ensuring that the local communities were treated fairly and their rights were respected and protected. For communities who have a very resilient communities and know how to get their right, Joseph was a very good community person. He told me that he wanted to work with the communities to make sure that the community were treated the way they should be treated. In his address, Conan expressed gratitude to the dedicated employees and stakeholders who supported him through his tenure. It has been a honor to ArcelorMittal Liberia and work alongside with such talented individuals. Conan said, I am proud of what we have accomplished together, and I am very confident that the companies will continue to succeed. The farewell ceremony, speeches from various ArcelorMittal department and dignitaries, including various Vice President Joy Howard Taylor. Taylor praised Conan's efforts in contributing to the country's economic growth and strengthening trade relations. This event was marked by the presentation of gift, symbolizing the strong relationship built during Conan's leadership. ArcelorMittal announced the appointment of Michael Van der Vaart as the new CEO, who was present at the farewell ceremony and is expected to continue the positive momentum set by his predecessors. The event highlighted that Josephus Conan's lasting impact on ArcelorMittal Liberia and the community it shares, setting a high standard for the company's future endeavor. With this being said, this is how we move over to another story on the Hot Pepper newspaper. So Vice President Kung launches 19.4 million special agro processing zone project. VP Kung VP Kung launches 19.4 million special agro processing zone project. Vice President Jeremiah Kung has emphasized the critical need for unity among Liberians entrepreneurs to drive success in their business and foster national development. During the official launch of the Special Agro Processing Zone project on behalf of President Joseph Nyaman Boakat at the Free Zone in Bourgeois Island, Monrovia, Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, Vice President Kung highlighted the importance of collaboration among Liberian business owners. The SAP project, supported by the African Development Bank, aims to boost the agricultural sector and enhance economic growth. Drawing from his experience as a businessman before entering politics, VP Kung acknowledged the existing disparity in progress between foreign-owned advancements in the agriculture sector through collective efforts emphasizing the need for Liberian entrepreneurs to work to get towards common goals. The launch of the 19.4 million initiative signals the beginning of a 5-year strategic plan to establish and regulate special economic zone, driving trade activities, economic growth, and creating employment opportunities in line with the government's arrest agenda. Furthermore, Vice President Kung called for increased government investment in low-cost oil processing, noting that a significant amount of palm oil from Liberia is currently processed in neighboring Sierra Leone. He highlighted that approximately 90,000 metric tons of oil palm are processed monthly in Sierra Leone uh, for various purposes, showcasing a missed economic opportunity for Liberia. With this being said, this is how we move over to the New Dawn newspaper. Ex-official dragged to court. This is what the New Dawn newspaper is reporting this morning. Ex-official dragged to court. Former officials are eligible for bail bond, which when filed could get those detained out of the central prison while the case goes on. The Magisterial Court in Monrovia has forwarded former President George Weah's ex officio to a higher court for prosecution following their indictment for multiple crimes. The indictees include former Finance Minister Samuel D. Twe, who remains advisor, Mr. Jefferson Camon, Liberia former acting Justice Minister, Councillor Nyanti Tuan, former finance Okay, folks. We want to sincerely apologize. We keep getting interrupted as a result of our the network conditions we are faced with in studio. So we have been advised by our producer to end the broadcast while the technical team in the backstage handle uh, the technical problem that is ongoing. My name is Kay Lyndon Toba, and the program you have been listening to or you have been watching is the program called Inside the Print Media on Foci or online TV Foci FM. So many thanks to all of you who have been following this beautiful broadcast this morning. It has been a very wonderful and fantastic moment here. My name is Lyndon Toba, and this is how I choose to end this broadcast today. I see you when we see